Civilian and Soldier by Wally Shoinga. So this is a post-colonial text, as in you have a Kenyan writer speaking about the experiences that his country and his people had under the British rule. Under the British rule, so there were many insurgencies, many you could say battles between the native people, that is the black people, and the Britishers. So there was this Nigerian civil war, and he was a very active participant in all these, you could say, protest demonstrations and wars against the British. All right. So Wally Shoinga, he is also the first African to be honored with the Nobel Prize for Literature. So he's a Nobel Prize winner. So the first African writer to be given a Nobel Prize in Literature. So he is a supporter of African liberation, African freedom movement. So he has been very, very vocal about his stand, his stand supporting the black people. So he has gone to the prison many times, and you could say he has been seen as an enemy of the country, as in the British rule, enemy of the British rule. So he's quite satirical in many of his works, and he uses words that are really scathing and attacking the white regime. Fine. So this poem, this is actually a surrealistic poem. Surrealism, as in not a very realistic, because you have two ghosts speaking to each other, and who's to whom these ghosts belong to? A civilian and a soldier. Who is a civilian? Somebody who's not a soldier, right? Like us, common people. And then soldier is someone who is conscripted to an army, who is paid to fight battles. So we know the difference between a civilian and a soldier. So uh, the characters in the poem is that of the ghosts. They're not real people. So it's an imaginary kind of a situation wherein two ghosts are conversing with each other, and the situation is a war, a battle. And then you have these two men dead, and they're facing each other, and the kind of talk they have with each other. That forms the background to the poem, right? Civilian and soldier. So the poem is also a critique against the collateral damage that happens during wars. What is collateral damage? That is when you drop a bomb at your enemy quarters or enemy country. It's not exactly the enemy that dies in that bomb blast. It would be innocent common people, women and children who have nothing to do with the war. Yes or no? So these innocents who get killed in these wars, they're called the collateral damage, and authorities, regimes, and rulers, they simply shrug their shoulders, saying that this is bound to be there in any war, any battle. You cannot help it. So whenever you have a strife, you have a war, many innocent lives are also lost. So when you try to look at it and try to rationalize it, you simply cannot do that, because there is just no excuse for innocent lives being lost. So there is absurdity, and and it is simply unforgivable. So you can see the poet as a staunch supporter of pacifism as in peace. So he is totally against warfare, the mindless killing, the collateral damage that is a part of war. So he's asking what good it is to you or me when there is a war or a battle. Who stands to benefit? Ultimately, it's the common people who get killed. They lose their livelihoods, they lose their families and the loved ones. But then maybe the political leaders, the people at the top, they get some kind, some benefit out of it. But then the real losers are the ones at the bottom rung. So please have a look at the poem. It's divided into three stanzas. So in the first one, you have the civilian and the soldier coming face to face. My apparition rose from the fall of the lead, declared I am a civilian. It only served to aggravate your fright. For how could I have risen, a being of this world, in that hour of impartial death? And I thought also, nor is your quarrel of this world. So in the first stanza, what do we see? The poet is the civilian. So my apparition as in the ghostly specter. That is, the civilian is dead. So after death, what is happening? The spirit is coming alive. The spirit is standing there. So that apparition, the ghost is rising from the dead. Fall of lead. Lead here refers to lead bullets. So because of the bullets, this person was killed. The civilian was killed, and now the civilian is rising in the form of a ghost. And so my apparition, so my ghost, it woke up from the dead, and then I'm declaring that I am a civilian. So when I told this to you, who's you here? It's a soldier. So it only served to aggravate your fright. So the soldier really got frightened seeing the ghost of the civilian. So how could I have risen, a being of this world, in that hour of impartial death? Impartial as in mass murder, massacre. So it's a battle scene wherein people are killed left and right. You know, it's a you could say a site of mass murder wherein everybody is killed. So the soldier, he's kind of taken aback and he's shocked. He's wondering how come this person has come back to life, because they had tried their best to kill off everyone. So it was a scene of mass murder. So how is it possible that this man has come back? And I thought also, nor is your quarrel of this world. So I also understand that your quarrel is of not of this world. What does this mean? This means that the soldier is also dead. So he also now belongs to the other world, the nether world, that he has also become a spirit. So you have these specters, these spirits and ghosts facing each other. So this spirit of the soldier is really taken aback and shocked, because he had thought he had killed the civilian, but the civilian has now come back, but come back in the form of a ghost. You stood still for both eternities, and oh, I heard the lesson of your training sessions. Cautioning, scorch earth behind you. Do not leave a dubious neutral to the rare. Reiteration of my civilian quandary. Borrowing earth from the lead festival of your more eager friends. Work the worst on your confusion. And when you brought the gun to bear on me, and death twitched me gently in the eye, your plight and all of you came clear to me. So now what is saying? Now he is remembering who? The civilian is remembering the instance or the event that led to his death. So now these people, they had come face to face when they were alive. So the soldier was now standing in front of the civilian, and he was standing still for both eternities. That is, there was hesitance, or the soldier hesitated to pull the trigger and kill the civilian. So he was showing some kind of a hesitation. So you stood there for some time, not knowing what to do. And I heard the lesson of your training sessions cautioning. So I understood why you were standing with that hesitation, that even if you are a soldier, you have that humanity in you. And human beings are not actually born to kill each other. We know that it is wrong. So even if it is in the name of war and battle, we have this hesitation. So even when you're talking about your enemy, whatever, this kind of a mindless killing is disturbing to the soldier also. So the soldier must be standing there, and at the back of his mind, what would be there? The lesson of his training session. So a soldier is trained. What is the training given to a soldier? Scorch earth behind you. Do not leave a dubious neutral to the rare. So they are trained. Scorch earth behind you. That is, destroy everything behind you. Don't leave anything behind. That is, when you attack, just finish off everything and everyone. Just finish off everyone. Do not leave a dubious neutral to the rare. That is, don't leave behind anyone or anything that is suspicious, because later that can be a problem or a danger to your own survival. It can be a threat to you. So the soldiers are trained to destroy everything that they come across, and not to leave behind a single soul alive. And why? Because if you leave behind somebody, that person can track you down, or that person can become an agent of your own doom or your own failure. So when you are attacking someone, or you are attacking a group of people or a regiment, make sure that you wipe them off. You just destroy and don't leave behind anything. reiteration of my civilian quandary, borrowing earth from the lead festival of your more eager friends, work the verse on your confusion. So here we have the picture of the soldier who's standing there all confused. He's not that very eager and ready to pull the trigger and kill the civilian, the soldier. But what about his friends? The friends are celebrating lead festival, as in the friends, then maybe they're not thinking whatever, they are into the battle. They're simply being trigger happy. They're killing people left and right. They are being killed using the bullets. That's why the lead festival. So it's like a festival where the bullets are raining. So triggering the guns and killing people left and right. So when others were doing that, you were standing. You were standing and you were in a quandary, as in you're in a kind of a confused state of mind, wondering whether to kill me or not. You had that kind of a quandary in your mind. Whereas your friends were very eager and then they were killing, they're going on killing. And when you brought the gun to bear on me, and finally, when you got the gun to me to shoot me, and death twitched me gently in the eye, your plight and all of you came clear to me. So finally, what does the soldier do? Finally, he picks the gun, brings it close to the civilian, and he kills him. So finally, you came with the gun and you kill me, and slowly I died. That is, twitched me gently in the eye, as in my eyes closed and I died. So at that moment of death, I realized your plight, that is your difficulty, your problem. I understood your problem. And what is his problem? His problem was that he was also a nice person who's trained to kill. But even when you're trained to kill, you're brainwashed into believing that this is how you're supposed to behave. There are moments wherein you start questioning these things. You start questioning, what is the purpose? Why do you need to kill so many people? What good is going to come out of it? Yes or no? So even if you become hardened, even if you become hardened by war and training, there are moments wherein people do question these kind of things. And another thing we need to understand is soldiers, as in the last rung, the bottom rung of soldiers, they are just like puppets in the hands of their superior officers and the political leaders. So their fate is decided, and their activities, actions, everything is decided by these people on top. They give the orders and these people are supposed to obey them. So no questions asked and no answers given. So they have to blindly follow the instructions that are given to them. So if the boss tells you, if your leader tells you march left, you march towards the left. If they tell you kill, they're supposed to do that. If they tell you shoot, they're supposed to do that. No questions asked and no answers given. They're supposed to be mindless, numb puppets. They're just like machines who serve a purpose. And whose purpose is it? The purpose of the military officers, and the military officers who are further commanded by the political leaders. Understand? So the common ordinary soldier is actually not to be blamed for all the killing, or all the thing that would happen in the battlefield, because he is just an instrument. He is just an instrument, just a puppet in the hands of these powerful people. They can't even question, and many times they don't even question, because they are taught, they are trained in that particular manner. They're simply doing a job without questions being asked. So the civilian is saying that now I understand. So at the moment you kill me with a gun, I understood. I understood your plight. I understood your difficulty or your problem. That, and what is his problem? His problem is that he's simply a soldier who is actually not really responsible for his actions. He's only being guided by people who are up there. He's just an instrument. I hope someday, intent upon my trade of living, to be checked in stride by your apparition in a trench, signaling I am a soldier. No hesitation then, but I shall shoot you clean and fair with meat and bread, a gourd of wine, a bunch of breast from either arm, and that lone question, do your friend even now know what it is all about? So now he is saying that one day I hope, intent upon my trade of living, that is, once I am done with this death, that is, once I die, and once you also die, to be checked in stride by your apparition in a trench. So he's saying that we'll come face to face. So he's addressing that ghost. your ghost will come face to face with my ghost. So now, like in the beginning of the poem, what do we see? The soldier has killed him, killed the civilian. So the civilian's ghost has risen from the dead, and the ghost is scaring him. And the ghost is remembering, the ghost of the civilian is remembering the kind of hesitation that was there on the part of the soldier before shooting him down and killing. And then the civilian, the ghost is able to understand why he is in a quandary and why he is not able to function like other soldiers, or the way they are trained to kill, the way they are trained to attack. So he understands that. So he's saying, I hope one day I'll be coming face to face with your ghost. So now he's talking about, putting the thing into the future, wherein we both will come face to face. That is, I'm done with my life. That is, my business of living, my trade of living is done. And then your ghost will also rise. So that is, now the soldier is also dead. The soldier is also dead, and soldier's ghost is also there. So you have both the ghosts face to face, signaling I'm a soldier. So the soldier will tell me that you are a soldier. You remember at the beginning you have I'm a civilian, spoken by the ghost of the dead man, the civilian man. So now in the third stanza you have the ghost, the apparition of the soldier standing there. So now the soldier saying, signaling, saying that I'm a soldier. No hesitation then, but I shall shoot you clean and fair with meat and bread. So you say that I'll also kill you, maybe. I'll kill you with kindness. I'll shoot you clean and fair with meat and bread. That is, I will offer you food. I'll give you food for the soul. I'll give you food. So meat, bread, god of wine, bunch of breasts. Even bunch of breasts, there's no actually clarity what he means. So maybe he's talking about chicken breasts. We don't know. So I'm going to give you a feast. I'm going to treat you like that. You killed me, though with hesitation, whatever. Finally, the soldier in you succeeded in killing me. So in response, when your spirit comes to me telling that you are a soldier, I'm going to shoot you with kindness. I'm going to give you all these things, food and wine, and that God is any fruit with a thick skin, right? So I'm going to give you that, and then I'm going to ask you just one question. I don't want anything in return from you. There's just one question. And what is that one question? Do you, friend, even now know what it is all about? That you, the soldier, do you even know what you're doing? This mindless killing, the mindless massacre, the trigger happiness into which the soldiers are trained into. Do you even know what the war or battle is about? You are mindlessly killing people. Innocent lives are being taken in the battlefield. And do you really know? Do you know how absurd the whole thing is? That how meaningless the whole thing is? And what is this whole thing? What is it all about? He's talking about the battle. So what is the meaning behind it? So don't you think this is absurd? So I'm just having this question for you. I just have this one single question for you. So that's how the poem ends. So this shows denouncement of war and its attendant glory. So all the glory and honor that you get by winning a war is actually meaningless. It is sham, because at the end of it, what have you done? You've killed so many people, so many innocent lives have been lost. So do you really call that a victory and a glory, killing your fellow beings? So these are the underlying questions that are raised by the poem. So this can be seen as a critique of war, a questioning of the logic behind war. So is there a meaning in all this? What is the purpose finally? Ultimately, what are you going to get? And as a soldier, do you even know why you're fighting? You're just like a puppet. You're like a machine that has been timed by your superiors to kill, to march ahead, to retreat, to follow all their orders. You don't even use your mind, your brains. And do you really understand what you're doing? And these soldiers usually they're clueless about what they're fighting for. Do they even know about this? That's a question with which the poem ends.